making my mouth water. Isn't that awesome? I love it. Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. I'm so excited today to have a very special guest, Gerry Sizemore from Tampa, Florida. And Gerry, we've known each other now for what, about four?
Yes, ma'am, that's
4
right.
years, you know, and we came to know each other by way of Johnson & Wales in Charlotte, where you graduated. And I was looking for a master's chef. And I think you called and I hired you the very next day.
That's right. It was a quick thing.
Quick thing, and he got in the car and came to Augusta and helped us with that. But I've reached out to Gerry because he is really an expert at sous vide, and we've had so many of you write in and say you want to know more about that piece of equipment. So what are we going to be preparing today?
Today we have a number of things that are going to be delicious, and it's all going to be sous vide. So we're going to start off with a basil balsamic burrata with a tomato carpaccio. That'll be a good appetizer. And for our second one, we're going to do a seed-crusted halibut. That's going to be with a confit of fennel and artichoke. And then we're going to finish off with a banana bread dessert that's actually going to be sous vide as well. And that's going to have a chocolate semifreddo with that.
Wow, sounds delicious. So, you know what? We got a lot to do. Let's get started.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm really excited, Gerry, to be making all these recipes today with the sous vide. And, you know, Gerry's going to share a bunch of tips and tricks because you're so good at it and you're so familiar with it. So the first step today is making the homemade ricotta.
Yes, ma'am.
So walk us through that.
So to make the homemade ricotta, you're going to take a gallon of regular vitamin D milk and you're going to bring that to just a simmer, just to where you start to see a little bit of shimmering and a little bit of smoke. And then you're going to shock that with about a half a cup of white distilled vinegar. And once you do that, you're going to start to see the curds on the top of the cheese mixture, and that's going to be your ricotta. Once that starts, you're going to drain that off into a chinois, and you have your ricotta.
Gosh, that is so interesting and so delicious looking. All right, so you want me to get started with?
Yes, ma'am. If you could put that in the bag for me, we're going to sous vide this at about 46 degrees Celsius for a little while, just until it becomes pliable.
Well, I love to go run into Fresh Market for all my cheeses, so I got that from there, and this is just so, I'm just having the best time learning about this. All right, so you said to leave the bag open just a little bit.
We want a little bit of air to escape so that when you push the mozzarella down, it'll push the rest of the air out, and that's actually called water displacement. So when you're sous videing at home, you want to push everything down into the water as far as you can so that the air can escape.
Okay.
And I've already got one done, but while you do that, I'm going to go ahead and mix up these mixtures. So the first one, I'm just going to do a little bit of lemon zest and a little bit of basil. And that just gives it a nice little bright flavor. Just a little bit, not too much. And then I got already chopped up some basil here, so we're going to put that in and mix it up. And if you would like to take a little bit of that bit balsamic, and just maybe a tablespoon in there, and we can mix that together.
Gosh, I love this balsamic glaze.
That's good.
And I think the last time you were on the show, you made that from scratch too.
Yes, I did. That was a good time. So now we've got this nice and mixed up. We got a little bit of lemon and a little bit of basil, and we're going to actually mix these two together. But while we have that going, I'm going to go ahead and pull out one of these balls of mozzarella, and this is already pretty pliable, as you can see.
So all this did was just warm it up so you could work with it.
Yes, ma'am. And if you're working with this and it seizes back up, you can just dip it right back in there and keep on working. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to stretch it to about maybe about an inch wide,
Oh, wow.
a little bit more, and get you a nice little pliable. And you can work with it pretty good. If it rips, it's easy to repair. And so we just want a small little circle, and we're just going to take a nice little press on it. We're going to take half of this mixture, put it here, and then we're going to take half of the balsamic.
I do okay on that?
Yes, ma'am. It looks perfect. Nice.
He knows better than to say otherwise.
You don't want it to be too black, but it's perfect. And then now that we have this circle, we're just going to kind of fold this up to a nice little ball here. And you can make these as big as you want. If you wanted to do an entree with that, you could.
Oh, wow.
But we're just doing kind of an appetizer today. So we just make a little ball here like that, and that's going to sit just right on top of your
Okay,
plate.
so what is your presentation idea for this?
So today I think we can do this with a nice tomato carpaccio. So carpaccio is a term usually used for meat, but it just means thinly sliced. So I think it's fine that we're just going to thinly slice some of these tomatoes and present them at the bottom of the plate. And
walk us through how you did that in the sous vide.
So you take a nice heirloom tomato that you picked up at the fresh market, and we're going to slice that real thin, nice thin medallions. And then we're going to put a little bit of thyme, about a clove of garlic, a little bit of shallot, and maybe basil if you'd like. Okay. And we just dunk that into the sous vide for just maybe a minute, maybe just enough to get those flavors going and working well with each other. And then you can go ahead and shock that with an ice bath to keep it cool. And then you're going to take the bottom of it and we're going to fan it out in a nice presentation and have that burrata right on top of it.
That sounds great. Well, we're going to then move into the seed-crusted halibut as the entree. And for those of you that are really getting interested in this, we're also going to be giving away one of these Anova sous vides today on the show. So come back with us after the break and we'll go into that dish and also give you some more information about the giveaway. Welcome back, everybody, and if you're just joining me, you're wondering who this handsome young man is next to me. It's Gerry Sizemore from Tampa, Florida, and he's been part of the VeryVera organization now for about 4 years. So happy to be learning about the sous vide, and we're ready for the main dish now.
Right, we are ready for the main dish. We're going to do a seed-crusted halibut. It's a very good recipe that I like to do. So we started off with a little bit of seeds. We have caraway, coriander, anise, and fennel seed. And that's ground in a mortar and pestle. And so you're just going to take a little bit of oil and put that on the top of the fish to make a nice little adhesive. And then we're going to give it some good old-fashioned salt and pepper first.
Love that. I love to use the tri-colored pepper on tea.
Puts a nice touch on it.
All right, a little salt.
A little salt.
All right, when you use this, when you're using that, you know, to grind this up, you don't want to do it too much. It took a little bit of time to do this.
It does take a little bit of elbow work.
Yeah, but you're just trying to open it up just so the flavor comes through, right?
Exactly, just to expose the flavor. And now you got a nice little bed of seeds, so we're going to press both sides, or the first side of the fish, but both pieces of fish. And then we're going to sear them in a cast iron. And while you're doing that, I'm going to break down this fennel for the fennel confit. So you just start by taking off these top ribs, pretty quick like. And then we like to trim off this little base just to make it pretty. We'll cut that in half. And then one more time for quarters.
Oh gosh, all these aromas, you factor in the fennel, the coriander, the anise, the celery seed. It's just awesome right here.
And now we're gonna take all 4 quarters and put them here in this bag with a little bit of salt. And we're going to take just a little bit of butter, put it in with there, and some chicken stock. And that's just going to give it a nice little flavor as we confit this. Now, traditionally, confit means something cooked in its own fat. Today, we're cooking it in butter. And we're just going to go ahead and dip this into the bath. We're at 84 degrees Celsius. And we'll clip that off, and that'll be in for about an hour and a half to 2 hours until it's nice and tender to your liking.
And you went ahead and did some ahead, and so that's what we're looking at, right?
Yes, ma'am. That's what it looks like when the artichoke is done. And now I did put an artichoke in there as well. So a lot of people are kind of intimidated on artichokes, but it's really not that bad.
That's such a pretty one. I want to use that in a flower arrangement.
Yeah, it's very, very nice. So we'll just trim the tip here, and then you'll cut off a base so it sits flat. And you'll take your knife and shave off this way until you get all the green gone. Once all the green's gone, we're going to chop it in half one more time, and that'll expose the inside purple heart. And you're going to take a spoon and just scoop out all the little fuzzies that are inside. And after you do that, you've got your artichoke, and you're ready to go, and it'll look something like that.
Oh, gosh. That's beautiful. All right, so I love, Gerry, I know you think I'm crazy because I've got a towel on the cooktop.
Taught me a new trick today.
But this is the Wolf induction cooktop that when you're frying or doing anything that's going to splatter, you can literally put a tea towel under your, and this is our Lodge cast iron skillet, and you know it's going to make a little bit of a mess, but then I can just put the towel in the wash machine and
that's really cool. I thought you were trying to set this place on fire, but I guess
well, we are setting it on fire. We got you on the show today.
Well, we can go ahead and take that and put it.
Okay, so I'm going to let you do that.
We want to make sure that we're at a pretty high heat, but maybe not all the way high, so we get a nice little singing in the pan. You hear the sizzle there.
Well, and this is like fake skin, right?
It will become, yes, just about like fake skin. And we're gonna let this sit and set for a good about 1.5 to 2 minutes before we flip it, because we want those seeds to soak into the skin and soak in and create that new skin.
Okay, well, we're going to be moving into Vera's Corner next, and today I'm going to talk about how to improve your fall arrangement. You know, I could actually use this in there. And then we're going to have more information about the giveaway, because Inova has given us one of these sous vides to give away today to a lucky guest. So please come back with us after the break. Are you looking for a way to add a little bit of color to your fall decorations, or maybe come up with something unique for a place setting? Well, today I'm going to show you how to do just that. This project only requires some stalks of wheat, tacky glue, embroidery floss, and scissors. Take 5 to 7 stalks of wheat and cut them about 10 inches below the head. Gather the stalks together and tie with the selected color of embroidery floss. Begin wrapping the floss around the wheat bundle, working your way down and being sure that there isn't any wheat peeking through. I found the easiest way to do this is to hold the string in one hand and spin the wheat stalk with the other. Make sure you cover any loose string left from your first knot. When you've covered 1.5 to 2 inches, snip the embroidery floss and subtly secure the loose end with a small dot of tacky glue. Continue with other colors until you have about 10 to 15 finished bundles. You can use these bundles in a tall vase for a unique flower decor, or you can use individual bundles at each place setting on your fall dinner table. Welcome back, everybody. You know, and Jerry, I'm kind of looking at the steam coming out of this sous vide, thinking I could use it for a facial maybe.
It was a little cool this morning, you know. Maybe we can warm up.
Oh, gosh. Well, we are having a great time working with the Inova sous vide, and we were really busy during the break. We got the fish turned. It turned out beautifully. And then I had you busy getting ready on the next dish.
Yeah, so the last dish we're going to make is a sous vide banana bread, and it's a little different because we're actually going to drop it in water, which you think wouldn't really mix, but hang on with me and I'll show you how it's done. So we mixed up the butter and the sugar, so it was granulated sugar and brown sugar, and we just wanted to incorporate all that. I let it cool just a little bit so that it won't cook the egg, and we're just going to scrape that into this bowl here.
I'm so interested in this, Jerry, because, you know, banana bread's supposed to be baked in an oven.
Traditionally, yes.
Okay, so this is where we're educating all of you about how versatile this sous vide can be.
Yeah, so the sous vide can be used for a lot of things, and this is a lot of people haven't heard of this, but we're going to try it out today. So you can start with the cream.
Okay.
And then the vanilla. And we're just going to keep on mixing this as she pours.
So it's all the same ingredients, but if I was baking it, I wouldn't have melted all of that.
No, not necessarily, because this will be at a little bit lower of a temperature, but it's going to be at a longer rate. So now we did let this cool down. I'm going to add the egg, but we have to be careful that it's not so hot that it'll cook it.
Okay.
But we're good here. We're also going to add our baking soda and our salt right now.
Okay. Get the rest of the egg out there. Baking soda and salt.
All right. Now this is the part where we have to make sure that we don't overmix the bread. You're going to add the banana first.
Okay.
All right, we'll get that nice and incorporated, and then here for the flour. So we're just going to lightly, we don't want to overmix this, so that's why we're not using a mixer. So you can go ahead and do it in about 2 batches. We'll do about half of it, and then I'll go ahead and turn that up a little bit.
Because banana bread is like a quick bread, so that you don't want to overmix.
Go ahead and do the rest of it.
Gosh, it's so interesting because, you know, you invest in something like a sous vide, and these retail from anywhere from $170 to over $300, depending on the features that come with it. And actually, the one that we're giving away today retails for around $175. But you know, we've used it to do so many different things already on the show today, and now I'm thinking in terms of logistics, getting ready for this dinner party like the chef series we did last night, and you've now taken this function away from your oven. You know, you're doing a dessert that would traditionally be done in an oven, but you're able to use this and not have to take up oven space.
And that frees up a lot of space in your oven. So now we're ready to go, and it's okay if you see a little bit of flour balls. They are going to bake out.
Okay.
So if you'd like to use, we like to use a little mixer just to kind of, I'll pour some of that in here.
Okay.
And then we'll go right into the mason jar.
All right, and why do you use a mason jar?
The mason jar has a tight-fitting lid on the top of it. You can use any size. It doesn't have to be a 4-ounce mason jar, but it does have to have a Loctite lid.
Okay.
So now I'm going to show you. I'll have you pour about 3/4 of the way all the way up. We don't want to go all the way full because we want to let it have a little bit of room to rise.
So maybe to that first rim?
That's a very good marker, yes.
Okay. You know, it's kind of like today, I love to be the student, Gerry, and you're such a great teacher. You know, a lot of the accounts that we do where we're coming in and cooking for groups, that works really great. Okay, so now we're going to put the lids on.
The only secret to this is we don't want to tighten the lid as hard as you can. So you just want to kind of finger tighten it. As soon as it starts to get tight, you're pretty good. You don't want it to be too tight. And this is going to allow air to escape under the water as it shoots out and the baking process begins to push everything back.
All right, well, we're going to come back. We're going to show you how to present all of this. Use the tip that you got in Vera's Corner today. So come back with us in just a few minutes. Gerry, look how great everything looks, and I had zero to do with it. That's why I invite folks like Gerry to be part of this, because you know so much about the sous vide, but I had you busy during the break. What were you working on?
We finished by putting the jars into the water, and those are going to cook for a while, and then we get our finished product there. I also made a beurre fondue, which is a butter and parsley just mixed together to make a quick little sauce.
Oh, and it's so beautiful on the plate. So for those of you folks that came in kind of late, let's just kind of wrap up what we did today.
Well, first we made a tomato burrata. We did a mozzarella, we put it in the sous vide to heat it back up, and we made homemade ricotta cheese and we stuffed that. We then put a small layer of tomato carpaccio under that, and that's our appetizer.
Gorgeous.
For the next course, we made a seed-crusted halibut. It had coriander, celery seeds, anise, and fennel. We then made parsley beurre fondue and a fennel artichoke confit, and then we finished off with a semifreddo and a banana bread in the sous vide.
Gosh, well, you know, just, it all sounds so elegant. And, you know, for those of you that just think that you can't do this, hopefully you've seen today that some of these techniques become a lot easier because you're using the sous vide. So tell, you know, if you had to think of 3 reasons why someone would want to invest in this piece of equipment, what would that be?
Well, there's many reasons, but it's just a very good buy because it's a very even cooking temperature. So if you put a steak in it, it's getting cooked at 100% all around, everywhere it is, and you can't overcook it also. So if you want something at 135 and maybe something happens and you walk away, you're still okay. It didn't burn, it won't overcook either.
Right.
So then also, I guess another would be that it cooks all up in its own flavor. So it's getting that good juice and all that good flavor, and when you bring it out, it's an amazing thing.
Well, and then I always like to think about logistics. You know, we did the dessert that would have normally been done in an oven. We were able to use that away from the oven. But, you know, in terms of the presentation, Pier 1, again, is my go-to for something different. A new placemat just makes the table look happy.
Very good.
You know, the metal plate with the fish and everything, it just turned out great. And in Vera's Corner today, you learned how a simple arrangement can get a little spunk if you add something that you did yourself. So even if you got your florist to help you, you can make it your own by adding in a special touch. So Gerry, we've got a great giveaway today. Anova, who is the sous vide that we used today, is giving us this is a wonderful product, and they're going to give one away. So we want you to like us, like our page, share the post, and then comment what town. We want to know where you all are, where you're watching the show from, and then we're going to choose someone to win this. I certainly want to say to you, Gerry, that I continue to enjoy. I don't get to see you as often as I'd like to because you're down in Tampa. And
yes,
for anybody that's going to Tampa on vacation, you need to go to Haven because you'll be having his food. It's fantastic. I want to thank you so much for being part of this, being part of the chef series with us last night. And for the rest of you, we have got an unbelievable giveaway next week. We're doing 2 Rectech grills. So if you're looking for a new grill and something that's amazing, you certainly want to watch because we'll be giving those 2 away. And you know, Gerry, I always say on the show, no matter what you do it in good taste. Got great taste in friends. I'm going to find out what this tastes like in just a few minutes. But for all of you, I want you to be sure to look at our recipes on VeryVera.com and come back with us again next week. DVR if you're not going to be in front of that TV, and come back and join us.